Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the penultimate round in the GNR Racing League Proto GT Sprint Series. Here live from Mugello tonight. It is another one of our sprint races after our long enduro at Spa 4 weeks ago. Back to the enduros. Last time out was Imola. This time around at Mugello as we continue our Italian tour. We'll go off to Fuji in 2 weeks' time to settle a finale. How many of the 3 championships are still going to be available? Well, we'll find out tonight. I'd imagine 1 or 2 or 3. I'd imagine. I think at least one of them, though, will be available to change in that final week of the season. Here's how they look at the moment. Vegard Johansson leads the GTPs by 8 points over Case and Collier, and they are the main two, really. Ian Knox and Andy Pratt, who are tied for third, are probably a bit far away. Then you've got Parker Enquist, Stephen Laird, Rhys Bartlett, Damien Hayward, and then behind them, they really are a bit too far away outside the top 8. 14 points for Chad Henson in the GTE-PROs, ahead of Jeff Manning and Gert-Jan Polman, who are tied for second. Brandon Smith and Dave Van Dam are not too far away there either in the top 5. And Sam Hager leads by a long way in the GTE-AMs. If he beats Justin Lanier tonight by 1 or 2 positions, then he will be champion with still a round to go. And with Lanier not at the moment here at all, that is looking likely. Ian Coates is here for the AMs and could make a late charge, but he's 35 points behind and does need a big result. So we'll see how that goes. I think that one will likely be settled at the end of tonight. We'll see about the others, as I say. Myself, Ian O'Leary, Jim Cunningham in commentary for you tonight, and good to be alongside you at Mugello again, Jim. We hear a lot recently, as we were talking before the broadcast. It's just one of those things that leagues seem to gravitate towards the same circuits at the same time sometimes. It is an interesting circuit, though, for multi-class racing, because it doesn't happen here all that often. The 24H series, the sort of touring car, sort of lower end touring car endurance series, always has a 12-hour race here, has had every year since 2014, apart from 2018 being a 12-hour race at Mugello. But apart from that, you don't see too much multi-class racing here. You see a lot of motorcycle racing around here. In fact, tonight though, we've got the GTPs and the GTEs out there together again.
Yeah, good to be here with you again, Ewan. And like you said, we've done this one a couple times this week, and I'm okay with that. I like this track, like I've expressed to you earlier. I feel like I get around this place pretty good. So, I don't know in real life why they don't race some of these bigger series here. I guess there's probably financial and political reasons why they do what they do, but. To me, in sim racing, this is a great track for multi-class. It's difficult. It's got some. It doesn't have a ton of great passing zones, but you can pass here, as we've witnessed this week already. I think I love this place. So I enjoy coming here. To me, I don't know. This track screams Italian racetrack to me.
Mm. Yeah, and played out perfectly in the backdrop that we have here in Tuscany as well. The hills that are around, absolutely fantastic place to go racing. Now we're already at the end of qualifying, by the way, and we'll just talk about the reasons for that in just a moment. But Case and Collier has taken the pole here tonight in front of Ian Knox in the GTPs, with Andy Pratt then close in third. Then you get a bit of a bigger gap back to Brandon White, who is fourth. Stuart Brighton and Damien Hayward then on row 3 in front of Parker Enquist and Stephen Laird. Rhys Bartlett and Nick Green round out the 10 GTPs. Dave Van Dam leads the GTEs, starting from 11th overall. Is ahead of Brandon Smith, Philip Grussing and Josh Taylor, the first of the non-Corvettes actually. He's 4th in GTE, ahead of Jeff Manning and Gert-Jan Polman. Then you've got the first of the AMs, Sam Hager, who's alongside AM rival Tim Wybrow. Olivo is 19th in front of Garrett Kinney, the last of the pros, and they're the last of the AMs, the last of the drivers overall is Ian Coates to round out the field. Before we talk about the grid and where everybody is, we should just explain why we come into qualifying a bit later than normal, and that's because of the video you would have seen at the beginning of the broadcast here tonight, announcing the new season of the GNR Racing League, coming up just 2 weeks after this one finishes. So in a fortnight's time we'll have our finale in Fuji. A fortnight after that we'll have our first race of our new season, and one of the bigger changes, Jim, I suppose, slightly longer calendar but similar feel retained, but LMP2s added to this grid, which is going to be exciting for season 3 kicking off in just 4 weeks from now.
Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to that. I love those LMP2 cars. I don't think they get the love that they deserve. Everybody wants to drive a GTP car. They get real excited about them. These cars are tough to drive, man. The LMP2 car is a fun car. It's a great transition car coming up from the anti-lock brake traction control GT, like the GT3s and the GT4s. I think it's a fun car to drive, and I'm glad they're adding it. I do another series that has LMP2s in it, and we've been getting some fantastic racing.
Yeah. I think they are a little bit underrepresented sometimes, but the attraction of a GTP, as you say, is pretty high. Nick Green, by the way, not getting onto the grid here, so 20 starting from the racetrack here that is unusual. Who's that?
That's I think that's
Reese Bartlett.
Reese Bartlett, yeah.
What is he doing there? Anyway,
big, wide warm up your tires, I guess. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure how much warming that actually does, but there you are. That's how it is. Talk about this grid a little bit. One big notable absentee is Vegard Johansson, who is only 8 points ahead of Kason Collier coming into tonight. Now, you get 8 points for 13th place in this series. So even if Collier finishes down in 10th place, he'll score much more than that. I think this race could turn into a scenario where, unfortunately for Vegard Johansson, it's for Kason Collier to decide how big is his Championship League going to be going into the final round at Fuji, because at the moment, as long as he finishes, as long as everything is fine with the way the race is tonight, as long as he's not disqualified, etc., he'll take the championship lead going into the final race of this season.
Yeah, and that's been a close battle. I think it was in there like 8 points right now separating them, I think you said?
Yep.
Is that right? Yeah. I mean, that's it's unfortunate that he obviously couldn't make this race for some reason or another, because that was the hotly contested championship. I think the GTE-AMs, the GTE amateurs, is probably going to be settled tonight more than likely. But I think this one was going to be the most attractive. I hate that he couldn't make it.
Yeah, it's a real shame, but so things get in the way sometimes.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah, exactly. So hope everything's all right, and he'll be back for the final round. In GTE, as you say, the AM Championship likely to be settled here tonight, to be honest. Chad Henson is the leader of the Pro Championship, though, and he's not here tonight either. Jeff Manning, second place, is not exactly taking advantage of that just yet either. He's starting from fifth position here tonight in GTE-PRO, but again, he's got a 14-point deficit, and he's also deciding how big that deficit's going to be, although he could actually finish lower and still keep Chad Henson with his lead. But anyway, Manning and Gert-Jan Polman as well, who's tied, by the way, with Manning on points, they've all got a big chance to catch up to Henson. So it's unusual, isn't it, that two classes have that opportunity for the guys catching up to the championship leaders, just to have that free reign like they do. That's
going to make next week super exciting, though, for the GTE pros. I mean, that's going to be because it's it entirely could be a three-horse race there, and just a couple of points separating all of them.
Yeah. I mean, we can add, as you say, Brandon Smith and Dave Van Dam into that, and Van Dam's taken pole tonight, so he's in a good place to begin with as well. There are the Corvettes, who are all over the front. You can see three of them there, a few more to catch up in the background. GTE field is just slightly bigger than the GTP field. Once again, 11 GTEs, 10 GTPs about to get themselves underway, and here we come now in towards the final corner after this rather long pace lap, but good chance for us to talk through everything, to be honest, before we get things properly underway here in the penultimate round of the GNR Racing League Proto GT Sprint Series here for this season. It's the penultimate round. We're expecting things could be settled here, but in a couple of classes where there's been issues for some drivers getting onto the grid and so on, we are going to see a completely different race, a completely unusual race maybe compared to what we see, an unusual championship situation as well. Green flag in hand. Case and Collier in control of this field, ready to get us underway, and we'll see them pop out behind that green flag in just a moment and cross the line for the start of this 45-minute race. And Collier's not waiting around. He goes and gets the green flag in the air here from Mugello. In second, Ian Knox gets into line with Andy Pratt just in behind him, and followed then by White in towards turn number 1. But Collier in towards turn 1 leads, and comfortably leads on the way out as well. Nick Green, by the way, of this GTP class, is already on his way out as well, although he'll have to wait for the GTPs to go, the GTEs rather, to go past as well before he can get onto the power. Here they come in towards turn 1, and that's off. Kurt-Jan Polman, it looks like, who's gone off. Is that on the way towards, excuse me, no, it's Brandon Smith who's gone wide at turn number 1. Kurt-Jan Polman's fine. In fact, he's made up loads of places. He's into second. In behind, Philip Grussing has also moved up. Dave Van Dam's down 3 places. Brandon Smith down a load of places down towards turn 1.
Yeah, that was a really bad, costly mistake there. He got way off track. He didn't seem like it was going to be that bad, and then next thing you know, he was really way off there. I don't know what happened.
Completely must have missed his braking point there.
Yeah.
And gone in deep, and yeah, that's given him an awful lot of work to do for the rest of this day. Good start there. Oh dear, we've got, is it side by side, sorry, between Bartlett and Brereton there towards the end of the second sector, I think. Everybody getting through nicely, and no damage around, thankfully, although Bartlett and Brighton just having a little bit of a moment, but only a small one, and so he can get going and continue on. But Grussing leads in the GTE class.
Yes.
What a start from him. Coates, Wybrow and Kinney also fighting back here as some of these pro guys try and make up some places.
Wow, 3 wide there. Well, that chrome car in the wrong sunshine can really mess you up. Good looking car.
That can get in your eyes.
Yeah, big time.
It's pretty sunny out there today, and very hot as a result on the racetrack. 54 degrees Celsius. I've got to convert that for you, Jim. That's about 130, 140. Very hot.
Wait a minute, what is the track? Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's crazy.
That's very, very hot.
I think people are dying in the stands right now. That's pretty hot.
Get some water. Get them some water.
Oh my gosh, that's pretty hot, yeah.
Very, very warm indeed. But it is a bit warm in Europe at the moment, so it does make sense. Led ahead of Hayward and Enquist here for 5th position in this fight. These are the kind of fights that are going to go on all the way down the GTP field here really early on. The front 4, we saw this in qualifying actually with some of the cats that we saw. There was definitely going to be a front 3 or 4 getting away, and that's happened quite obviously already.
You know, when I say uh-oh, it's something.
Something's come up on the... Oh dear, Nick Green has only just come out the pit lane, having had a pit lane start here and tiptoeing his way around.
It's a cold tire, man. That's the worst thing about starting from pit lane. You don't get a chance to warm your tires up at all.
Yeah.
And that's brutal right there, you know. I mean, gosh, he didn't even make it around a lap.
No. Well, yeah, even at the end of 1 lap, his tyres still weren't up to temperature as he was coming out the final turn through here. But, yeah, that's why you notice such a big difference. That's why you didn't see anybody tiptoeing around like that through the opening lap of the leaders here, because, as you say, they do get to warm their tyres up on the racetrack. Even Reece Bartlett's slightly strange tyre warming seems to have done the trick for him, and he's absolutely fine. Here comes Enquist on, or Hayward is it rather, on Enquist in towards turn 1. Parker Angus breaks a bit late, and there you go. He doesn't go quite as far off as Brandon Smith did in the GTE class, but he certainly goes wide, and that's a gift for Hayward, who's up to 6th.
Indeed it is, yeah. That was... I mean, you know, these cars are sensitive, man, as far as brakes. And what's funny is this league, you know, is a beginner-friendly league. They make that very specific, you know, that you can come over here and they're okay if you know, there's a learning curve. You know, they don't expect you to be a pro driver or anything. Oh, somebody's going off there. Is that Bartlett? Yeah. That
was Bartlett. Oh, and that's a handy... oh, wow. I've never noticed that before. That's a very handy road, isn't it?
That worked out just fine, didn't it? He hardly lost any spots at all.
He'll get a slowdown, of course, but that's very handy. He didn't get in the grass and straight into the fence.
I don't think he picked up a slowdown because he went slow enough through there that it didn't even mark him for a slowdown.
That's quite amazing. Oh, that almost looked as quick as staying on the racetrack, to be honest. That doesn't seem quite right. But there you go. These are the GTEs who are properly fighting it out at the moment. We'll maybe do some championship maths a little bit later on where Gert-Jan Polman might be able to get to with Chad Henson, for example, because he's at the moment one of the leaders of this charge. But Jeff Manning's made a great start here, up 2 places. It says up 3, of course, but one of them's Nick Green, so I'm not going to count that. Up 2 places, and it might be a 3rd. There he goes on his championship rival. These two tied on points at the start of the day, looking for the championship lead as it stands, with these two in 2nd and 3rd. Down the inside, Jeff Manning has certainly raced his way better than he's qualified, and he's up to 2nd in GTE.
Boy, isn't this what you tune in for right here, though? Championship battles, you know, cars right there tied in points, and look at this on the inside here. I have to say
Dave
that was
Van
a
Dam
nice
getting
move.
through as well. So he's past Gert-Jan Polman, who might well try and respond again. Momentum not go. Oh no, he's going to just push him, and is he going to try and get him past Manning? Maybe try and upset things at the front of this group now. He is going to go for it here, Dave Van Dam. Just over 5 minutes into this race, he's back into 2nd. Don't forget he qualified on pole, so it's still a net loss. However, he's back into 2nd ahead of Manning and Polman. Don't forget he started the day trailing them in the championship by 6 points. This won't rectify that gap, but it will certainly help, and he'll now try and chase down Philip Grussing out front.
Well, I tell you what, this whole championship battle here in the pros is really starting to shape up nice. You know, this is good stuff.
I've just remembered as well that I'm saying Philip's name wrong, aren't I? Remind me how to say his name right.
Wait a minute, let me think about it now for a second. Hold on, I'll get it and I'll tell you.
Okay.
It's like gressing.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Gressing. Yes.
Gressing. Yeah.
Gressing.
So,
yep. The reason I said I told him I wouldn't forget is because of Thanksgiving in the United States. We serve something called dressing or stuffing, but we call it dressing. So I said, you know, I like to eat, so I'll always remember his name, and I did, which is pretty good.
Yep.
I barely remember my own name sometimes.
I've been pronouncing his name as if he's German all season. Here comes Hayward on Enquist in towards turn number 1. Looking around the outside, and that's a long way, especially with those stones there, but he's all right. He's still alongside in time for turn 2. Oh dear, Hayward's having to slide now out of the exit of turn 2. Don't be sliding these tyres in these temperatures, and that was a little bit of contact. Hayward hangs on to 6th place.
Wow, these guys are getting after it here too. Yeah, I tell you what, there was a lot of debris on the track back there, wasn't it? That they ran through. Somebody brought a ton of that stuff on the track.
Yeah, it must have been from Smith, I suppose, on lap 1, bringing all that stuff on the racetrack there, out of in the opening moments, but I'm not sure. I guess it has to be. But
yeah, I would think so. But well, we had a couple of guys go off there, just not that severe. But it probably was him. You're right.
I'd imagine so. Brighton has caught up to Enquist as a result of that fight, but he goes slightly wide there on the brakes for turn 10. Scarparia. Pretty corner around here, by the way, has got a name, which is a bit unusual. And if my Italian was better, I'd know what the names were about, but
if it was the United
it's pretty
States,
poor.
it'd be real creative. It'd be 1, 2, 3,
2A. Oh, yeah, there you go. Yeah.
I guess they do that when they add they already had a turn 3 and they decided to put a chicane there, so now it becomes 3A and 3B, I guess. I don't know. I guess that's the only thing I can
yeah, I suppose so. That's maybe explains, you know, I always go on about the one at Road Atlanta, which I just think is
probably because that was definitely added later. That used to be a straight shot through there. And
until the 90s, I think.
Yeah, but it got too dangerous as the cars got faster and faster, you know.
I'm not surprised it was dangerous looking at the layout the way it is at the moment.
I'll tell you what, back in that time period, that track was, you know, I mean, I love Road Atlanta to this day, but back then, man, there was just something about Road Atlanta back in the 80s and 90s, you know.
As I was recently sent an onboard lap from the old Laguna Seca, by the way.
I love that track back when I was
without
a kid.
the little infield. It's a very, very fast circuit. I mean, it's quite fast now, but it was very fast then with the what would be turn 2 really, just being effectively a flick to the left, not even 90 degrees in a prototype. Very, very quick indeed. Before that was changed, I think in the maybe 80s.
I think it was changed around the time, like when like Bobby Ray Hall, when he was racing around that time, so that would have probably been the 80s. That's the cars got, especially when they used to run Indy cars there. The track got crazy fast.
I mean, to be honest, even the IMSA GTPs of that 80s era would look very quick round there as well.
Oh, yeah. Well,
yeah,
that was
the downforce.
Like there was several years that the Nissan dominated the one you see in iRacing. And then, of course, after that was the Jaguars that Martin Brundle used to drive.
Yeah, such a shame that we only get the Nissan. I need to say it the way you say it there. The Nissan.
The Nissan. Yeah.
The Nissan.
Nissan. Yeah. That's a country boy in me.
Well, yeah.
We're driving none of them Nissan pickups now.
But a bit of a shame it's only that car that's in the
it is,
GTP
right?
Classic.
I would love to have
era.
that old Jaguar and James makes fun of the way I say that. How do you say Jag?
Jaguar.
Jaguar. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm way off.
Extra syllable.
Well, it's like Porsche. I leave the E off of Porsche.
Yeah. Well, it's all accents or whatever. Anyway, we've gotten quite sidetracked.
Yes,
there's Nick Green making his way past Brandon Smith, who's now back on the road and doing okay. Now 18th overall. And here, meantime, comes Dave Van Dam, looking to regain this lead, and he's regained it in such a way it makes you wonder how he lost it in the first place. Past Philip Gressing, and he is into the lead again, Dave Van Dam. So this is now where he starts to make a bit of an impression on Manning and Poleman, who are 6 points ahead of him at the start of the day. Brandon Smith's mistake is going to take him out of the contention a little bit, given he started in 4th place in the start of the day. He would definitely be down to 5th now behind Van Dam, who at the moment would gain 7 points, so enough, on Manning and 8 on Poleman. So he'd get ahead of both of them and ahead of Henson, and he'd go from 5th place at the start of the day to leading the championship by just 5 points, or maybe even less actually. No, by 1 point indeed. Only be 5 points ahead of Henson.
Let's go see how he did lose the start here at the start.
Yeah, I don't really know how he even ended up 3 wide, to be honest, in the first place, but that's Smith going on very deep there.
Oh,
wow,
he almost
there
turned
you go.
in on Poleman and had to lock him up to keep from hitting Gert Van Poleman.
I think he spun up the rears, to be honest.
Yeah, you think so? It could have been.
I think so, and that's normally what you see in terms of a lock-up there to try and stop it from going all the way around. And
one more time here real quick, see. Because it looked like he turned in on him, but you're right, he could have lit him up. I
think so.
Could be either way. But, well, at least we see now why he lost all those spots. But he clearly had the pace. He qualified up there, and now he's on the front row, and now he's back up there to the lead.
That's Tim Wybrow, by the way, coming up the pit lane there on the left-hand side. Got to be careful on the pit exits, not to go straight on with the cold tyres or whatever, if you did indeed change them, but drops down to the very back of the field. So with the GTPs arriving soon, I think some of the GTs are deciding now is the time to pit. Josh Taylor, meantime, gets down the inside and through on one of the falls there. That was Hager, Sam Hager, who is still the leader of the GTE-AM class and on his way to a title here tonight. In fact, he has now almost sealed it, I suppose, with Ian Coates behind him. I mean, it's all but done, isn't it, really, for the AM Championship, and we've known that for a little while. But, he's had a
great season.
Like to,
I mean, he really has.
Of course.
Fantastic.
And, in GTE, you score points on an overall basis, and if he were a pro, he'd be in 4th place. So, if you look at it like that,
well, there you go.
It's been a pretty impressive season.
Well, next season he probably will be a pro.
I should hope so.
Yeah, I'm sure he wants to. You always want to race up in competition a little bit, And that'll be fun. I spoke about his livery last week. I'm a big fan of that livery. That's I'm sure that's one of the GNR liveries, by the way. Yeah, I know they have several brands. They got GNR Racing League, and then they have the GNR Sim Racing. I don't know. And then they got the paint shop. They do all kinds of things there at GNR. But I'll tell you what, if you're thinking about driving these kind of cars, which to me they're hitting, the GTEs are a great car. you need to come check this league out. This is a great league with just a great bunch of international drivers from all over. And,
yeah, good for any time zone, really.
Yeah, it really is actually. Well, I think it was set up that way, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think they kind of planned it. It's a little early for American time, but it's good, and it works for Europe, and it also works for like Australia and that part of the world.
Yeah, early morning. Well, not even that early at this time of year for the Australians. So nice Saturday morning race, Friday evening race for us in Europe. If you don't mind staying up past midnight. And as I say, tad early, especially if you're on the west coast of America, but we can still get plenty of entrants from America. In fact, most of the field from the US.
Yeah,
as
that
Nick Green
Australia
continues to work his way through.
There's like 5 Australians in here too.
Well, don't lump Reece Bartlett in with the Australians. He's,
he is Australian.
New Zealand.
He just, actually he's New Zealand, but the other ones are all, there's still 5, it's 4 no, it's 5 Australians. 5 Australians, one Kiwi.
Oh, no, yeah.
And, but Reece lives in the United States. I know that just from conversations with him.
Okay. Don't start saying that New Zealand's part of Australia or something.
No. Time zone wise, it's similar part of the world.
True. Even it's early afternoon there in some parts of New Zealand. It's so far ahead of the rest of us. Early Saturday afternoon. So there you go. Anyway, back for the lead in GTE. Gressing and Van Dam have reversed their places again. Dave Van Dam looking to pass for the lead for the second time in the last 5 or 10 minutes. And he goes to the outside quite dramatically. Gressing on the inside, braking a bit early there. Round the outside, just as he did lap 1 here, Van Dam. The stones there have been cleared by the general rhythm of the racing here so far tonight. But Van Dam wasn't able to use it there to get himself through. So he's still behind Gressing, although that's a good run out of turn 3. Here we go to the outside of 4, getting the inside at 5 if he can stay there. He needed to be tighter though to the inside. Gressing's going to get round the outside there and stay in front again. He holds on to the GTE-PRO lead in front of Dave Van Dam, who, if he wins from this scenario, would be the narrowest of championship leaders heading into the final race.
That's exciting, though. I love that we're, that they're literally that close,
Yeah. Be 1 point if he leads and wins from here. It's 1 point in it. With Henson, by the way, if he turns up in 2 weeks' time, only 5 points behind, so it wouldn't even be a disastrous day for him.
Oh, saw that. You see that Van Dam's car stepped out a little bit there. The Corvette's kind of famous for that, and the problem is you start, yeah, the tires start getting heated up when you do that, and it's not good.
And especially in these temperatures, it's come down half a degree, but when it's at 54, that's not making much of a difference, I'm afraid. Battle for the lead, by the way, in the traffic. Oh no, Ian Knox has had trouble here. Ian Knox has had trouble, and Andy Pratt's up to second place. Knox was right on the back of Cason Collier there. Oh, and he's got damage here. He might have hit in a GTE. And let's hope it's just with the wall and he hasn't taken anybody with him there, but he's definitely got front-end damage. Luckily for him, we're near the halfway stage in this race. He can pit from here and get to the end, but he has made contact. And is it with Collier even? No, it won't be. It will be with somebody else. They're going through the long hairpin. Oh, it's a Corvette spinning in front of him. And Knox makes contact in the front left.
Nothing he could do there either, man. That is so unfortunate.
Is it Tim Wybrow who spun in front of him?
Yeah, Wybrow's having a bit of a rough day, unfortunately for him.
He's having trouble getting back to pit lane based on what I can see on the timing at the moment. Now, he has clearly been quite damaged by that contact. But as I say, this is close to halfway stage, so Ian Knox won't be too badly damaged in terms of this race. But unfortunately, he will find it difficult to compete for the win from here, with Collier and Pratt having pretty good races so far, and they're still only a second apart, those two.
Yeah, they're staying pretty close. We're not quite seeing this kind of battle that we're seeing here for the GTE-PRO lead.
Maybe now.
Yeah,
a bit of traffic for Collier. Yeah, that's Gertjan Polman. And here is the fight for the lead. So, fights for the lead in 2 out of 3 classes so far.
We're halfway in this race almost, or pretty close. And you can't ask for much more than that.
No, 3 minutes from half distance. It's pretty good going through the Andretti chicane towards the final corner on the racetrack. Buccine. Not the best Italian accent.
That was
half-hearted. Just a few more GTEs to negotiate, and they're the leaders as well to come. Van Dam pulls to the left-hand side here, and very early this time. In fact, in a drag race to the line there, he might have even won if that was the last lap. Here he comes on the outside. Oh, there's contact! That was super close to disaster for both of them, and Cressing's now on the wrong line. He was out of sorts on the brakes. Van Dam luckily gives him a load of room, and again, maybe too much room. Not enough room given on the straight, so maybe too much through the corners, but Van Dam gets himself through now into the lead in GTE, but that could have been so much bigger drama if they were so close to having disastrous contact on the front straight there.
I almost wonder if that's why Van Dam did give him that room a little bit, or did Van Dam just drive it in there a little too deep, because that contact was a bit strange, to be honest with you. They knew. Oh, God, that was close.
That was not advisable. But don't do that at home, by the way.
No.
That was Pratt on Gressing, who unfortunately has felt the ebb and flow of traffic there going away from him, and that's Jeff Manning just behind him there. But I think Van Dam maybe did go a little bit deep, or maybe he did give extra space as a result. But you've got to remember, last lap, or was it a couple of laps ago, when he tried to go around the outside of turn 5 to get the inside at 6, he gave too much room on that occasion as well, and therefore meant that he couldn't make the move. So I suspect that is just the way he's been doing it a little bit. But on the straight there wasn't enough room to give between the two of them.
No, and they knew one another was there, but they pretty much drag raced door to door all the way down the entire straight, Yeah. Now this has turned into a nice three-way battle here, because Manning is all up in this mess now.
Yeah, and that's a lap car just in front of them, by the way, of Ian Coates, who is about to go one lap down to the GTE drivers, as well as 2 down to the GTPs who've just flown through.
He probably left his sunglasses at home, and it's causing him some glare issues, and he can't. I couldn't help myself. No, what a great battle this is up here, though. We're not there.
If you want to continue the jokes, then you could say that because he's Scottish, he's just thrown off by the sun. I don't know. Anyway.
See, that's a European joke. I would have never come up with that. That's a good one. I like that, though. That is a European.
I like that phrase. That's a European joke.
It is. That's a European joke. That would have never clicked.
No, I don't know. Are they placed in America where it's never sunny? I don't think there are really.
No, not really. I mean, the Pacific Northwest, up if you're familiar with the geography of the United States, Washington and Oregon, it probably rains more there than anywhere, But no, nothing. I don't think. I mean, I think that the European weather specifically in general, I think that we have this opinion in the United States that it's gray and dark all the time, because of the way y'all make, you guys make it out sound like it's always like that. But
yeah, well, you've got to remember that the highest point of Europe, as to longitudinally, or do I mean latitudinally? But one of those two. The highest point is very, very dark indeed, and the lowest point is like some states of America in terms of how sunny it is not all the time, but through a lot of the year. Like places like here, for example, where it's not dark. In fact, I was in the Netherlands once with an Italian. In January, and you can imagine what the Netherlands is like in January. It's a bit miserable. And he was saying to me, when on the 3rd or 4th day we were there, he was like, "I'm just getting so depressed. It's grey all the time." And we were all like, "Yeah, it is." And apparently in Italy it's not like that, even in January. So there you go. That's it varies very much across the place. But places like this will be very, very sunny a lot of the year. And as you can see, this time of year, I'm not sure whether the in-sim date is similar to the current date, but anyway, 54 degrees Celsius on the racetrack tonight. It's an absolute scorcher, and these guys will be pleased it's only a 45-minute race because of that.
That's one of the hottest temperatures I've ever seen for a track temperature.
I have seen 60, but only twice.
I mean,
that doesn't happen
that's
often.
up there for sure.
Yeah.
I tell you what, Van Dam has slid away from these guys. These two here went side by side there at one point when we were in the Netherlands with the guy with the Italian. And no, I'm just saying. I was just referring back to the time period when they were side by side, and they had a little battle going there. And Van Dam has pulled 3 seconds out on him now. I mean, in no time at all, he's left them. I mean, look at this.
Sorry, I should focus more on the race.
No, I love a little story every now and then. I think people do. I think that's funny. But I was just, you know how I am. I was just having a little fun with it.
Yeah, no, I know. But also, I know some people get annoyed if commentators are not focused. To be fair, I'm one of them sometimes when the commentator's not focusing on what's going on. Anyway, Jeff Manning's in the pit lane now, and he's probably going to kick off a whole load of stops in GTE by the looks of things. Yeah. Parker Enquist, meantime, gets through on a little bit more traffic, and that's Stuart Brighton in the background who goes into pit lane as well. So we're past halfway now. We're in the last 20 minutes, and pit stops are well and truly upon us. I'll do some championship maths, and I'll tell you where everybody is once the cycle is all complete. But Manning of the championship contenders has rather kicked us off here because Van Dam and Polman are still yet to come in the next few laps.
You know what's interesting is that these guys, I don't know exactly how far they can go on fuel here, but like I don't understand the concept of pitting before you have to, because to me the car is so much faster on a light fuel load. Now they may be taking tires in temperatures like this. In fact, too late. I was going to go see. Because with these kind of temperatures, maybe, but typically you shouldn't have to change tires in a 45-minute race,
No. Especially in GTE when you have to do it at a different time to fueling, which really does cost you a lot of time. I think, part of it is down to traffic, really. But I agree. I think generally it's a good, because look at the GTPs around at the moment. Whether you are a GTP or a GT, actually, look at this field spread in both categories of car at the moment. Yes. The GTPs are all over the place, as are the GTEs. There's no region of the racetrack where you're thinking, oh God, this is going to be a lot of thick traffic the next few moments. There's sort of 1 or 2 cars to pick off per lap for these GTPs. It's pretty manageable, really, and there's only 1 or 2 GTPs coming past these GTs every lap or so. And sometimes you get a bit of clean air, but there's not particularly any thick bits of traffic. So, yeah, I agree. I think it's probably a better idea to stay out for as long as possible at the moment. And to be fair, that is what most drivers are doing in GTE, certainly the top contenders. In GTP, we're only waiting for 4 more stops, though, so it's certainly been popular to come in already.
So I'm looking at these lap times. The GTEs or the GTPs are running 3 seconds a lap slower than their best time right now. Even on the lighter fuel load, the ones that haven't pitted, even on the lighter fuel load, they're still running 3 seconds a lap fast or slower. I wonder if maybe at least 2 tires might be worth it, but then you got the out lap where you struggle to get them hot. I don't know.
And which 2 do you take? I mean, it's a clockwise circuit, but
I think you could go fronts or rears too, though.
Yeah, I suppose.
I mean, I think it depends a lot on your driving style. If you're a guy who can get on the throttle smoothly, you're not burning up the rear tires, then maybe fronts. But if you're a guy like me who just drops the hammer and sliding the car all over the place, then probably rears,
I would advise against rears here, to be honest, because of the flowing nature of the corners, first of all, but also because of that tyre warm-up phase. Once did a race, maybe I've said this before, I did a race at Monza once where I only took rears because obviously the rears take the big beating around there, and I couldn't stop spinning on the outlap because the rear tyres were so cold and the front tyres were obviously gripping as much as you could ever want, and so that turns into it. But those are unchallenging corners at Monza. Around here, it's a challenging racetrack to get tyres up to temperature again.
Not when it's 60 degrees out there, track temperature.
It wouldn't take long, I suppose.
No, that is. But I thought he might have picked up a black flag there because he locked him up coming in. But he's not going up on jack, so he's definitely not getting any kind of tires, as we see. Just a quick
in GTE, don't forget, you've got to do it after the fueling, so it does cost you more time.
Yeah, I'm thinking GTP. I mean GTP.
Yeah, and GTP definitely can see some tyre changes, and maybe we will see some as well.
I'll be curious now to see.
In this field. Yeah, we'll try and keep an eye on Collier and Pratt when they come in. Hopefully they come in at the same time so we can try and see whether they go up on the jacks or not. But Gressing stays out again, as does Gert-Jan Polman. Dave Van Dam, though, still leads. And Jeff Manning, after his stop, which was 36 seconds, by the way. He made that a couple of laps ago, didn't he, Manning? Two laps ago. Yeah. And that was way too long. 36 seconds is slower than anybody, apart from Nick Green, who had 3.5 minutes of repairs.
I mean, that's like a full load of fuel.
Yeah, or a fuel and 4 tyres. Even that's a bit too long for that, really.
Yeah, I can't comment. To be honest with you, I've never run a GTE race that I had to change tires. So I wouldn't even know, how to speculate on what the time frame is to fuel the car and then put tires on it. So yeah, I wouldn't have an estimation on that.
I'm presuming the tyre change takes as long as it does in a GT3. Maybe that's wrong to do that, but I'm sort of guessing that it's the same.
Well, that's about 23 or 24 seconds, isn't it?
Yeah, 22, I guess. Yeah. So,
something like that.
But if you take the 22 away from the 36, that's still a 14-second fill, which would also be the longest of anybody apart from Garrett Kinney.
Yes.
So that would be, normally 8 or 9 seconds is what you should be looking at in a GTE for fueling. So a bit of a mystery for now, that one.
Curious for sure. And I think that's going to be a struggle for him to recover from that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, championship-wise as well, very damaging. As I say, we'll go through the points when the stops have happened, and Gressing has not come in yet. No. Stephen Laird has just been off, by the way. He was quite close to Parker Enquist, and he's still yet to make his stop. And now he's only just in front of Brandon White, who has already made his stop. And looks like it might be down towards turn 1. He's gone off the road somewhere, and it's...
Oh, he missed that bad.
Just a bit too wide, and off he goes into a spin.
That's a case of brake bias as the car got lighter on fuel, and he touched the brakes as he was turning the car there. And Andy Pratt, what happened to Andy Pratt?
Oh no, that is the battle for the lead. Oh no, Andy Pratt has gone off here, and that is the battle for the lead ruined, really. Oh, he just breaks traction through the final turn as well. These tyres are getting properly hot now, and these spins are not helping.
No, they're not. And to be honest with you...
Oh, look at...
Oh, my gosh.
Whoa.
That almost ended his and Jeff Manning's day right there.
Yeah.
And he still didn't come in.
Yeah, that's quite insane, really. I don't know why Pratt didn't decide to come in there. But, I mean, do you see the way he got back going again there, Pratt? And how... difficult it was for those rear tyres. They must be absolutely burning.
Yeah, they were sliding all over the place when he got going there, or didn't really get going. He didn't even lose a spot. I mean, he lost a lot of time, but they had such an advantage out there that Enquist and Laird are still significantly far behind him. So position-wise, it didn't hurt him that much. But I tell you what, man, based on what I just saw there and the fact that I think we're going to see some tire changes here. I'm very curious to see these guys come in now. I'm shocked he didn't, because he was right there. Oh,
he should have. Even if he's not changing any tyres, which you probably say he probably should do now. Now here we go. Kason Collier's in, so let's see what he decides to do. Actually, he's got a bit of... Oh, dear, and he knocked him up on the way, and let's hope he didn't speed there. But... let's see what he decides to do. I think he's got the gap here to actually afford a 4-tyre change.
Yes.
If he wants it. Now, that would lose him about 10 seconds or so, and it would make it close initially. However, he might want to do that anyway. Let's see what he does here, though, as he pulls into the box at the end. No tyres from him. He's going to stay on those tyres, despite the temperature that they will now be running at after 35 minutes.
Let's see here. If I'm Andy Pratt, based on that, I think I'm changed. Oh, come on, really?
No tyres for him either.
Tires. Yeah, well, that's probably why I'm a commentator and not driving.
Yeah. Parker Enquist just went down the pit entry road and didn't come in there. That was unusual. Or is he in the pit lane? Well, the pit icon came up next to him for a brief moment, so He must have been down the entry road for a moment and got into the grass or something.
Entry road, yeah.
Oh
So
dear, and look at... Sorry, Pratt there stuck behind somebody on the pit exit road. You don't see that very often. And Pratt only just staying in front of Enquist as a result, although Parker Enquist just still have to stop.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, that was... I did see that Porsche pass him as they were coming out of pit road, and sure did. He got locked up behind it there. Yeah, I don't know, man. If I'm Pratt, based on the way I just absolutely torched those rear tires right there, yeah, I think I'd have put some tires on. But again, I'm not that experienced of a GTP driver. I mean, I drive them and I like to drive them, but I'm not. I'm more of a GTE or GT3 LMP2 guy. I just don't get these. The GTPs are a little tough for me, especially when they change that tire model.
I must say there are certain circuits where it does feel almost impossible to get a handle on the GTPs on occasion.
I mean, it's true.
But I think there are some circuits as well where or a lot of circuits where I think it's where they're much more suited, where it is a lot better.
Yeah, Le Mans.
Yeah, well, yeah.
You got about 7 turns on the whole thing.
Well,
but
that'd be controversial to Le Mans fans who are watching, by the way.
No, I love Le Mans. I mean, again, I'm just playing, but I absolutely love racing Le Mans. I love it. A lot of people criticize it, but I'm a huge fan.
Yeah, it is good. It's not long from the real race now, but
no,
3 weeks or
we're
so.
getting close. Yeah.
Look forward to that.
Have you ever been to?
No, sadly not. But I should have maybe tried to go this year or something, but or last year with the new regulations or whatever, making it as exciting as it's ever been in my lifetime. Well, since the LMP1s anyway, which I actually, controversial opinion, I actually preferred that era, but anyway, that's a controversial opinion. But no, sadly not. Never been to a 24-hour race of any kind.
Well, neither have I, actually. I've been to a 12-hour. Been to Sebring,
Yes.
12 hours of Sebring. But with my relocation, I'm going to be 45 minutes from Daytona. So I will be able to go to the Daytona 24.
You can go home halfway through the race.
Yeah, exactly. Go home, pop back up.
Go back for the finish.
But one of our friends that we do a league together for, they set up a tent every year, and so we, go hang out with Jed and his son and several of the guys from that league get together, and that's kind of the talk for next year. You should come over.
Well, yeah, it's quite a long way, isn't it? It's not a 45-minute drive for me.
No.
Sadly, but there you go. No, it is a race I'd like to go to. Although I constantly hear, I know someone who went this year, and I constantly hear about how cold it is overnight.
I mean, it does get a little chilly overnight, but I don't think it would be anything that would be offensive to you.
Well, true.
I think that if you're from the Florida area, it's a little cold for people that live down there. But for you, I think it would be just a normal winter's, I don't think it'd be anything.
Yeah. Although I'm quite a warm-blooded European, as it were. I don't really like the cold, which makes me quite miserable for long stretches of the winter. But there you go. Anyway.
I don't know who Vandy Games is in the chat, but he's enjoying the racing. That's good. Vandy Games. I wonder if you went to Vanderbilt. Did you go to Vanderbilt? Is that what that means?
What's that?
Vanderbilt is university.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Vanderbilt University. If he did go to Vanderbilt, that means that whoever this is, male or female, is relatively smart. Vanderbilt is a tough school to get into, and it's a pretty good education.
Oh no, it's due to his second name, Blake Vandergrift.
Oh, there we go.
So there you go. That's the story behind that. Anyway, yeah, good to have you along, and everybody else watching as well. Oh, look at that move from Ian Knox down the inside on Stuart Brierton into the first Arrabbiata, turn 8. And he moves up into 4th. Not too many battles in GTP actually left, and that might be the last one now, but that was a nice pass from Knox, who's recovering from a 1-minute pit stop, which has set him a long way back in this race.
Well, that was due to repairing that damage that occurred when he hit Wybrow? Yeah, Wybrow.
Yes, yeah, of course. I thought initially it was speeding, but I thought it was too long for that. But
yeah, no,
that's
that was
exactly what it is.
He had that damage when he had that incident with, well, Wybrow spun in front of him. It really had nothing to do with him other than he couldn't get out of the way.
I know that it's not really possible to do this in races, but Knox lost therefore 48 seconds in his pit stop as a result. He's currently 44 seconds off the race lead. So you do wonder what would have happened if he'd have
that is a kind of a form of speculation that doesn't really translate. No, I mean, I get where you're coming from. It's just like we were talking about that the other day with the guy who had all the slowdowns. And would he have won the race had he not had 4 or 5 slowdowns, considering he was only, 8 seconds off the lead or something?
And you think, well, maybe, but that was part of the race, and so on and so on and so on. So,
Inquist is back in pit road again.
Yeah, 37 seconds this time, second stop, and that's, Dave Van Dam getting dived by a GTP, and Gressing is really going to catch as a result of that. Just over a second is the gap between those two.
That was a huge break for Gressing right there with just slightly 4 minutes, just turned 4 minutes to go in this thing, and he just picked up a half a second there easily.
Just doing some championship maths at the moment, but Van Dam, as long as he holds on to this lead, would start the last race of the season 1 point in front of Gert-Jan Polman, 5 points in front of Chad Henson, who's not here tonight, and Jeff Manning, being all the way down that he is the 8th in the field at the moment. I think he's 8 because GTE score points overall. He's going to lose 12 to Van Dam. So he'd be behind by 6. So Polman behind by 1, Henson behind by 5, Manning behind by 6 heading into the final race.
That's going to be a heck of a championship race next week.
I forget about Brandon Smith, because after his early stop, he's only just gotten towards the front again now.
Yes.
But he's lost another 8 points to Van Dam. So he's going to be only 5 behind as well. So that's 5 drivers coming by 6 points.
That's going to be fantastic.
Couldn't ask for much more than that.
No, that's.
What a recovery from
last race of the
Smith,
season, and you got 5 guys that could win the championship, legitimately win the championship. Not, if this and this and this happens, this guy might have a chance. We're talking about 5 guys that could legitimately walk out of there a champion.
Yeah, Gressing will be 6th, 13 points back. Outside chance there. Not out of it.
Van Dam's opened that gap back up on him again after that incident with the not incident, but
near incident.
Had to get out of the way of that the GTP car. As we see, there's the silver
chrome car,
Ford, which is I'm a big Ford GT fan as well. I know. I don't think currently they're that fast. They were not maybe like 6 months ago. They were pretty fast, but
always changes these dynamics. 2 minutes to go when Case and Collier cross the line there, by the way, and therefore 2 laps to go as well. We'll see whether these guys get lapped again, but they might not. So it might still be 2 laps to go at the line for them, even though there'll be less than a minute left in the race.
Well, it's not like Van Dam can slow up,
No, exactly.
He's got Gressing, still right there. Although he is pulling away from Gressing a little bit, and it would seem that Gressing's having a little harder time getting around this lap car. Who is that? Is that
it's Coates.
Coates, yeah, okay. He's struggling to get around him, and that gap is just continuing to grow there. It was 3/4 of a second when the GTP incident happened, and now it's almost at, it's approaching 2.5 seconds.
Yeah, indeed. Well, less than a minute to go. Collier in the background is about to receive the white flag. He's going to score 25 points for this win as long as he can keep it, and that will give him a 17-point advantage over Vegard Johansson heading into the final race of the season. A shame that Johansson is not here for this round, and that it's turned the title really around, but Collier won't mind, and He has had to see off some threat earlier in this race, both from Andy Pratt, who's now 20 seconds behind in second, and Ian Knox as well, who I think was an even bigger challenger, actually, taken out in that incident just before halfway.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Ian Knox was going to be the contender today for sure to be up there, and just unfortunate. I mean, he's recovered pretty nicely, but.
I mean, let's see this lap time here. Last lap time was a 1:40.0. It's 3.6 seconds quicker than Collier. Maybe he changed tyres in that long stop, that long repair, which I suppose would make sense. But even so, over the line again, a 40.2. No one's even doing any 42s.
No.
Never mind 40s.
No, he's literally 3 seconds a lap faster than almost anybody else on track right now. And he's 2.5 seconds faster than everybody on track.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, he's flying for sure. But I mean, Collier's in a spot where he's got plenty of room to just take it easy, bring it home. No threat, he's good.
Yeah, absolutely, and that will be playing into a part of that 3-second gap, by the way, that he doesn't need to push at the moment. But what an important win this is going to be.
And he's not even pushing.
Yeah, exactly. He is going to win this race at a canter, really. Kason Collier knew what he needed to do. Close and take that championship lead away. He knew once he started tonight that he was going to do that, but he's got the maximum 25 points from this latest round of the championship. Kason Collier wins at Mugello in the GNR Racing League Proto GT Sprint Series. He's got to be careful of those two, by the way, because just in front of him, Perlman and Smith, two championship contenders, battling side by side in towards turn one, and Perlman holds him off for now. That's going to be a great podium battle in GTE-PRO. Just in the background and just getting lapped on that last lap, by the way, Sam Hager takes the win in the GTE-AMs again, and he will take officially the championship as well, with 1 round still to go at Fuji in 2 weeks' time. He is the confirmed champion, though he's the only one in the series so far. Perlman went wide there at turn 2, but it looks like it doesn't matter. Smith can't get past it even still, as this GTE Pro battle still has most of a lap to go.
Yeah, this is definitely a great battle. It was a bit interesting there. Did you see where Sam parked? Really close to the race surface there, but I guess he's towed now. But a bit awkward there. I was a bit concerned. He was right on the edge of the paint.
He should be fine as they all filter across the line here at the end. Looks like Smith's had his best chance here. And out front, Dave Van Dam is going to have this victory. He's going to go into the final race of the season just 1 point ahead of the others in this championship. With Gert-Jan Perlman losing at 7 points today and holding a 6-point advantage at the start, they're going to be separated by just a point at the next round at Fuji. Dave Van Dam wins here at Mugello after taking pole earlier in the night. He takes a crucial victory as well. Can Perlman at least hang on to third? Well, Kretzing finishes in second. He'll be an outsider for the championship from 6th in points in 2 weeks' time. Perlman holds on from Smith. He will be second, therefore, in the championship, with Brandon Smith only, what will it be, at 5 points or so behind himself as well. He will be there or thereabouts, as will Perlman, who'll be second. What a finale we've got coming up in GTE-PRO.
Man, I cannot wait for that race next week. I don't know if I'm going to be broadcasting it or not, but if I'm not, I'm going to be watching. You can believe that.
It's going to be a fantastic finale.
I mean, what else can you ask for, man? 5 guys with legitimate shot to walk away with the title. That is incredible.
Yeah. Dave Van Dam will be leading. Perlman 1 point behind. Henson 5 behind, along with Smith. Manning 6 behind, I think. Although I think he might have made up an extra place there right at the end to maybe be even a point further closer than that. Yeah, I think he's joined them 5 down, actually, alongside Smith and Henson. I think will be 5. So 5 drivers covered by 5 points. Cannot ask for any more than that.
No, you can't.
Yeah, that's going to be a great final race.
You want to go by classes?
Let's go by classes, shall we, for this series? Just because there's a couple of GTPs who are a little bit further down the field and removed from the rest. in the results. But here are the GTE-AMs. Sam Hager winning at a canter, really, and he's taken this championship at a canter as well in GTE-AM. Rolivod Olivo finishes second in front of Ian Coates with Tim Wybrow, also receiving damage in that crash with Ian Knox, of course. He finishes 4 laps down here tonight. In GTE-PRO, it's Dave Van Dam who takes the win and the championship lead in front of Philip Gressing. Gert-Jan Polman holds on from Brandon Smith there at the end. Josh Taylor and Jeff Manning were laps late on there. Not by Dave Van Dam, but by the overall leader, which meant they did a lap less. And Garrett Kinney had issues for that race, which meant he finished 2 laps down. Another most numerous class, the 10 GTPs. Kason Collier winning by 23 seconds in the end of Andy Pratt, whose spin at the final corner really took him out of contention. Brandon White finished on the podium with Ian Knox disappointed, I'd imagine, with 4th, but what great pace he had tonight. Stuart Brighton finished in 5th out of Damien Hayward and Stephen Laird on the lead lap. Reece Bartlett was 1 down, Enquist 2 down. Nick Green retired with 12 still to go in that race, sadly. Now then, let's have a chat to the podium drivers, shall we? Kason Collier, who has won here tonight overall. Kason, congratulations on the win tonight. Just how was that for you? Because Andy Pratt and Ian Knox were close behind you at stages, but you were able to see them off and win. How does it feel to take the win here at Mugello?
It feels very good. With the tires, they were just gone, and everybody was struggling on those. You probably saw Andy spin out behind me, and one of the GTE cars lose it.
Yeah, we certainly did. I mean, just describe to us that challenge. The track temperature was unbelievably high tonight, as I'm sure you're absolutely aware. How difficult, though, was that to deal with in these GTPs tonight?
Around every corner, the Porsche was trying to kill itself, trying to spin out, so I was having to correct it.
And with Vegard not here, how do you feel about the championship situation now that you've taken the win and most likely the points lead as well with tonight?
Well, I feel good that I most likely have the points lead, but it's probably going to all come down to the last race. Yep.
Yeah, it certainly will. We look forward to seeing you at that in 2 weeks' time, Kason. For now, congrats on the win, and thanks for chatting to us at the end as well.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. Kason Collier in first overall tonight. Championship leader as well in GTP now. Down to GTE-PRO, where Dave Van Dam has taken the victory. And congratulations, Dave, on that. Philip Gressing in the end, just 3 or so seconds behind you, but you were a lot closer with him and others throughout the earlier parts of that race. Just tell us what that was like, fighting your way back through to the win there after dropping positions early on and coming through to win.
Yeah, thanks, Owen and Jim. It was a great race, man. I really enjoyed this one. A lot to think about. Traffic, sudden movement of back markers, tire management from the GTEs. I don't know if you could see it on the broadcast, but we just spoke about it with the top 5. We just ended the race with nothing left on the tires. It was just trying to survive out there the last 5 laps and maintaining a decent pace. And I'm really happy. I mean, I won 3 races in a row now, and it puts me in a very good spot for the last race. So yeah, I'm delighted.
So
yeah,
I do have a question.
Go ahead.
I said I wasn't, but I do. So on that on lap 1, when you lost those positions, did you spin the rear tires hard, or was it that you saw? Okay.
No, I managed the car out of issues, but I did spin out the rear, and I didn't want to crash out on turn 1, and I just gave up some positions, knowing that my pace was there, and just worked from that point on, basically.
Perfect. That's what we were debating on, whether you spun the tires or you saw that car on your outside and kind of made sure.
No, I saw him, but eventually I also spun out the rear tires.
Oh, okay.
So it was a domino effect, basically. So yeah, good that you saw it, because that could have ended very wrong for all of us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, indeed. And one last thing, Dave, you're probably not aware of this actually, but based on our maths, and obviously we don't know where Chad Henson's going to be because he wasn't here tonight, but we believe that you'll be the championship leader, but there will be 4 drivers within 5 points of you heading into the final race of the season. Just what is that going to be like to be a part of in 2 weeks?
Amazing. I mean, I'm not going to lie. We had this interview 3 weeks ago when I was near the bottom. And when I won at Spa, I told you, like, if I can do a good job and maybe stick my head into the last few races and get a few points, I might go for the win. And I'm very happy. I mean, at the end of the day, this is what league racing is about, right? On iRacing, at the end of the day, if you have 8 races and in the last race you have 4 or 5 contenders racing for that top spot, it's what it's all about.
Absolutely.
Yeah, certainly is. Congrats, Dave, on the win tonight.
Thank you, guys.
That three-peat, as it were, and thanks for chatting to us at the end as well.
See you next week.
Thanks so much. Dave Van Dam, the winner tonight. It's good to know the drivers keep making the mistake of next week like we do.
I know, yeah.
Because, of course, it's 2 weeks away, but I didn't want to point that out. Anyway, that is Dave Van Dam, who's won in GTE-PRO. And one last chat before we go. GTE-AM winner and now champion, Sam Hager, who joins us as well. Sam, congratulations on another class win here tonight. Feels like we're speaking to you every single round, and officially now you'll be the champion of the GTE-AM class. How does it feel to finally have that sealed with still a round to go?
It feels pretty good, actually. It was a good race, good season. It's not over yet either.
Well, no, indeed. I mean, how are you approaching these races now? Because you've had such a big lead in the AM class for so long now. Do you almost see yourself as a pro driver competing overall with those pros? Because that's how you've been racing really over the last few weeks.
That's kind of been my motivation, is just keep up with those guys. That's how I've kind of learned some lines and some of the racecraft, just keeping up with them.
Well,
and apologies, I have a stuffy nose, so I'm a little nasally.
Oh no, no, absolutely fine. Well done on winning on with that hindrance as well. Congrats tonight, Sam, on the win again, and the championship sealing finally now as well. And thanks for chatting to us.
Yep. Have a good night.
Thanks very much, Sam Hager, the
you
winner.
You can tell he was
in
American with that.
Yep. Yeah, well, there you go. An American winning indeed overall and in GTE-AM, and a Flying Dutchman, Dave Van Dam, who's done the 3 in a row now.
That is pretty impressive. You know, how far out was he when he won Spa, and then he rips off 3 in a row and takes a 1-point lead going into the final race. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that you don't believe when you see it in a movie, because you're like, that's ridiculous,
Yeah, no, absolutely. Just trying to answer that question, by the way, on where he was. I think before he won at Spa, he was 9th, and he was 28 points off Chad Henson. Now he's 5 points ahead of Chad Henson, just 3 rounds later. So yeah, pretty remarkable the way that he's come up from the bottom end of the top 10 as David, straight up towards the top end of the standings. Anyway, that is just about it from us here tonight. What a great championship we've got in store for you in 2 weeks' time. It will be live here on the JPB YouTube channel as always. The GNR Racing League Proto GT Sprint Series reaching its conclusion at Fuji in 2 weeks' time. We'll be live same time, same place with that one, with GTP and GTE-PRO championship fights to settle, although the GTE-PRO battle will certainly be the headline act. Myself, Ian O'Leary, and Jim Cunningham will sign off for now, but we'll be back in 2 weeks' time from Fuji with that final race of the season. Look forward to your company then. For now, though, it's goodbye.